Let's dive into what blood sugar actually is and why it's more important than calories. Most people think that blood sugar only affects you if you have diabetes, but honestly, it affects all of us every day. It affects our energy levels, it affects our mood, it affects our cravings, it affects our hormones, and it even affects how well we sleep at night. So today we're going to talk about what blood sugar actually is, how it works inside our bodies, and why managing it is so important. By the end of this video, you will understand why eating 2 meals with identical calorie counts can affect your body in completely different ways because of the way they affect your blood sugar. So what is blood sugar? Blood sugar we also call blood glucose. It's the amount of sugar circulating through our bloodstream at any given moment. That glucose comes from different places. It comes from the carbohydrates that we eat, it comes a little bit from protein, and it comes from stored glycogen from our liver that our liver then releases into the bloodstream. So why does our body need it? Our body uses glucose as a primary fuel source for especially our brain, our red blood cells, and our muscles when we're active and we're doing something. This glucose is super important, and it's not the problem. The problem really comes by how fast it goes up and how fast it goes back down afterwards. We want to think about our blood sugar as a fuel gauge, not as a scorecard. When we eat, our body breaks down food into smaller molecules. Carbohydrates break down into glucose quickly. Protein breaks down more slowly, and fat barely raises blood sugar at all. As glucose enters the bloodstream, our pancreas releases insulin. Insulin's job is to move glucose out of the blood and into the cells. This is a totally normal process. It's a necessary process, and it's a life-sustaining process. But we run into problems when our blood sugar goes up too quickly, crashes too quickly, or when it stays too high for too long. When that happens, people feel shaky, irritable, exhausted, and then hungry again shortly after eating. Here's why calories don't tell us the full story. Calories tell us how much energy is in the food that we're eating. But what they don't tell us is how fast that energy is going to hit our bloodstream, how much insulin is required, and how long that energy is going to last. A 300-calorie meal of sugary cereal behaves very differently in the body than a 300-calorie meal with protein, fiber, and fat. One creates a huge spike and crash, while the other creates steadiness. Our bodies respond to those signals inside, not the math. Our body doesn't care that both had 300 calories. Our body cares about how fast that sugar hit our system. How fast or how slow that blood sugar hits our system really is like the beginning of knocking down a row of dominoes. It then goes on to affect our hormones. When our blood sugar is spiking and crashing and spiking and crashing and all of that instability, it absolutely affects our hormones because the stress hormones of adrenaline and cortisol are released. When we have a huge spike and then a drop in our blood sugar, our body reacts to that as if it's in danger. And when we do that over and over and over and over again, eventually it affects our thyroid signaling, our sex hormones, which are progesterone, testosterone, and estrogen, our sleep hormones, and even our appetite regulation. This is why balancing our blood sugars is foundational, not just for weight, but for our overall health.